With an ever-developing encyclopedia-like brain, someone with the INFJ personality tends to store more information than the average person. Some say they know a lot about nothing, yet when witnessing their philosophical understandings on life, human behavior, and a mixture of random facts and methodologies, they may just come across as a know-it-all. But is it because they really do know it all? Welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. An immature INFJ uses their knowledge as their identity. Most INFJs want to come across as caring, understanding, and open-minded. Yet, may not be how the average INFJ wants to be mainly perceived by others. There's certainly a few undermatured individuals with this personality type that may just thrive on being the one who wants to be seen as the wise guy of the group. Whether they feel insecure about who they are apart from their intelligence, or they overcome their shy and reserved demeanour in social settings through their sharing of brain power. Sometimes being a know-it-all is all the INFJ really knows. Through the fear of seeming dull and uninformed when taking the backseat in conversations, this unconfident INFJ utilizes their wisdom by testing others' shared theories and opinions. Luckily, INFJs will hesitate from sharing any facts or information that they're not absolutely confident in and usually try their best to withhold any biased opinions. However, despite their findings being accurate and all rooted in good fun, the smart aleck behavior can actually work in the opposite way they originally intended. Number 2. Deep down, most INFJs do believe they know more than others. Humble and non-discriminatory, if you asked an INFJ if they think they're more knowledgeable than those around them, they'd probably politely claim that everyone has their own set of strengths. And while this is an honest belief that most INFJs hold, deep down inside, this personality type has concluded on more than one occasion that they may just be above average when it comes to commonsensical knowledge. Sure, there's a whole host of different forms of intelligence, 7 to be exact. Despite these scientifically speaking forms of intelligence, known as word smarts, math smarts, physical smarts, musical smarts, people smarts, intrapersonal smarts, and visual smarts. When the INFJ witnesses the average human and the decisions they make, they can't help but to stroke their internal ego of discernment and wit. Usually they don't allow others to see this internal belief they hold. However, sometimes remarks about others' lack of common sense and consideration can slip out of frustration. Number 3. Their perfectionism can tempt them to call out others' mistakes. INFJs are critical by nature, and while they usually try to keep their criticisms to themselves, or more specifically, targeted at themselves, this personality type surely picks up on the everyday slip-ups and human errors that they observe. Depending on the severity of the fault and whether or not the INFJ themselves is affected by it in some way, usually they prefer to simply notice and hope for others to fix their mistakes. They may even take mental notes when it comes to the mistakes those around them make without noticing, subconsciously filing the observed information away for possible future use should the error escalate to something further. However, if the INFJ feels comfortable enough to joke around with a person caught in a blunder, they will happily tease them about their stumble. Anything from mispronouncing a word to misspelling a text. INFJs love to make light-hearted jokes surrounding human confusion, and while they refrain from calling out those who may not take the jokes as lightly as they intended, even those who feel comfortable around the INFJ may roll their eyes at their audacity. Number 4. Their main cognitive function allows for uncanny comprehension. Speaking of storing information away for future use, the one thing that gives the INFJ a one-up on others when it comes to intelligence is the one cognitive function they are notorious for: introverted intuition. Often referred to as a web-like series of subconscious thoughts, ideas, information, in future projections, the INFJ uses their main cognitive driver to see everything from a bird's eye view. This ability gives them a look into how certain choices and options can ripple into different outcomes and possibilities. And while this gift is certainly reliable and usually quite precise, when it comes to communicating their observations and understandings, it can make them seem like they're confidently backing their own mental nonsense. For example, if the INFJ can sense through the analysis of someone's life that the path they're on will serve to be detrimental in the future, there's no way of explaining their intuitive hunches without sounding senseless and absurd. Whether they have specific details or not, this type of confrontation will make the INFJ seem like a know-it-all, knowing so much that they believe they know that person better than they know themselves. Number 5. They give life advice without having lived through a similar experience. INFJs are avid advice givers at heart, not because they necessarily want to be, but because they have a natural talent and ability to see things from other perspectives. Through their combined introverted intuition and extroverted feeling functions, this empath personality type automatically resorts to stepping inside other people's shoes to get as close as they can to experiencing life through the lens of every human. INFJs are fascinated by alternative perspectives that come as a result of different life experiences. It's this curiosity mixed with their sheer interest in the human mind that the INFJ is able to utilize their abilities by gaining insight into others' struggles and hardships. And so, because of this, they are able to give some of the best advice despite not having lived through a similar experience. To some, this old soul wisdom is something that is cherished and appreciated by the INFJ personality type. However, to others, this type of experienceless advice can come across as know-it-all behavior and may even offend someone that's going through something unimaginable. Number 6. When they are wronged, they have ample information to back them up. INFJs are the first to admit when they're wrong. They despise the act of finger-pointing and manipulation, and will happily own up to any shortcoming they're involved in. In fact, the self-criticisms INFJs deal with on a daily basis can cause them to blame themselves for the issues they have with other people, giving others the benefit of the doubt all too often. And that being said, when the INFJ has been wrong too often or for too long, and it comes time to approach the situation from a different angle, they will only do so when they've formed a true understanding of another's ill intentions. Once they've remained passive and open-minded towards the potential reasoning behind the repetitive faults of other people, especially when it comes to friendships and romantic relationships, there comes a time when all hell breaks loose. While their approach may not be as aggressive as some other types, INFJs will come to an argument, confrontation, or disagreement with sufficient details and facts to back up their suspicions. To their opponent, this is not only frustrating, but also leaves no room for discussion, making the only logical route being trying to convince the INFJ they're just being a know-it-all. And lastly, number 7. They can be bossy and controlling at times. INFJs are not only perfectionistic by nature, but also organized. In fact, whether it looks like they have things in order or not, they're so organized that they can end up feeling extremely out of sorts when their environment is chaotic. In a family dynamic where the INFJ is responsible for others or the flow of the household, the INFJ can resort to a my way or the highway type of attitude, where they feel much more at ease when others comply with their preferred way of living. The same attitude is applied within their workspace, where the INFJ can certainly come across as being a micromanager or know-it-all when it comes to group projects or anything else that has the INFJ's name on it. Sometimes people appreciate having someone like this on their side, as it takes the pressure off and in the worst case, allows them to slack off knowing the INFJ will handle things. However, sometimes this bossy approach can be overbearing, disallowing others to make mistakes, learn for themselves, and apply their own creative touch. Whether the people around them like it or not, most INFJs can't help to comply with the high expectations they place on themselves and their responsibilities. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, Do you think you come across as a know-it-all in certain circumstances as an INFJ? If so, let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.